The national parks are calling and they are demanding to be explored. The national parks is home to all different types of landscapes. From vast mountains to dry deserts, the national parks are a great source of natural beauty. National parks are perfect for anyone that has the desire to explore. It is home to hundreds of trails and drive-up attractions, making it perfect for everybody. And it is home to different types of landscapes you are bound to find one that you adore. With over 400 national park sites, according to Rocky Lower, the chances of you finding a national park site that you like are high. I have researched extensively about the national parks, and I have visited dozens of national parks myself, making my evidence that I'm presenting to you reliable. Seeing the beauty that the national parks hold will change your perspective on yourself. This change can alter your mental and physical health along with your appreciation for nature. By visiting the national parks, you are not only benefiting yourself, but the parklands as well. And today I will be persuading you on why you should visit the national parks. The need for you to visit the national parks is quite obvious. Allow me to explain why. Visiting the national parks is good for your health. The national parks are both a great way for you to exercise your mental health and your physical health. A big perk of going to the national parks is some of the physical activities it provides, such as hiking. Hiking is a good way of seeing the beauty of the national parks firsthand. It's a good physical activity and works the entire body. It also keeps your mind sharp due to the unpredictable terrain, and studies have also found that people who hike are less anxious and suffer less rumination, according to Jill Sudi. Visiting the national parks is also good for your mental health. Many studies have found that people who immerse themselves in natural spaces like the national parks are less likely to develop mental health issues. Some of these mental health issues including anxiety, stress, and depression. The National Recreation and Park Association claimed that regular contact with nature is required for good mental health. So by visiting the national parks, your mental and physical health is bound to improve. If you visit the national parks, you can see some of the most beautiful places in the world. The national parks vary drastically from one another. Some of these parks are home to vast mountains, while others are home to deep, dry ravines. Each park is beautiful in its own way, and here are my top 3 favorite parks. My third favorite park is Yellowstone National Park. It is home to dozens of attractions, such as volcanic hot springs and geysers. The park stretches into 3 different states and occupies more than 2 million acres of land, according to the National Park Service. My second favorite national park is the Glacier National Park, and it is located in Montana. It is home to towering mountains and crystal clear lakes, and it is home to dozens of species of wildlife, including mountain goats and grizzly bears. My personal favorite national park is the Kenai Fjords National Park in Alaska. It is home to towering mountains and bright blue waters, along with dozens of enormous glaciers, making it my favorite national park. Each park has unique qualities that make it extraordinary. From beaches to mountains, from luscious trees to deep canyons, you are bound to find a park that you adore. Once you visit a national park, you are not only benefiting yourself, but the parklands as well. The preservation of the national parks depends on visitors. Most of the national parks funding comes from visitors. The funding that the park generates comes primarily through entrance fees and user fees, and the money that is earned through the contribution of visitors goes towards resources that protect and preserve the national parks. Visitors of the national parks can also donate to a specific park of their choosing, and the proceeds that were donated to the park goes towards park projects. Some of these projects include new trails, attractions, and maintenance upgrades. All of these projects aim to make your experience at the national parks more satisfactory. But if we don't visit the national parks, there could be consequences that ripple throughout the world. Without frequent visitors, the national parks will lose resources that preserve their glory. If parklands lose visitors, they will most likely resort to tax increases to keep the parks afloat. Without these visitors, the preservation of the national monuments, trails, and wildlife will decrease. If we don't visit the national parks, the number of mental illness and obesity cases will also increase. The parks are a great source of physical exercise, and without this outlet of exercise, the number of obese individuals will increase. If we don't visit the national parks, the number of mental illness cases will increase as well. Nature is often seen as a detox for anxiety and stress, and without the national parks to provide this beauty in nature, the number of mental illness cases will increase. But if you visit the national parks, the risk of you developing a mental illness will decrease significantly. Let me give you a real experience to support my speech. In 2018, I visited the Kenai Fjords National Park in Alaska. During my trip, I saw enormous towering mountains that were filled with luscious pine trees. Glaciers were bright blue and tremendous, and the wildlife was extraordinary. I saw anything from humpback whales to grizzly bears, to puffins to mountain goats. This trip changed my outlook on nature and wildlife forever. Just thinking about the beautiful atmosphere I was immersed in makes me feel relaxed. By visiting the national parks, you can experience the most beautiful places in the world. National parks provide great physical activities such as hiking, swimming, biking, and many more. Visiting the national parks can detox your mind of anxiety and stress while being able to immerse yourself in beautiful landscapes and historic monuments, as well as contributing to the preservation of the parklands. So next time you have that urge to go exploring, just know that the beautiful national parks are calling. Thank you. Do you have any questions?